Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cremechiss podcast. We're back with movie discussions after a long time. We were dabbling with a few short videos in the past few weeks, and now we're back with our good old podcast. I'm here with Surbi. I'm Sanket. And we're going to talk about lesser known, but in no way lesser interesting than any of the blockbusters. And the movie we're talking about today is called
Bacurau. Say it with me, Sank.
Bacurau. Is that how I'm pronouncing it?
Bacurau. Yeah. So Sanket and I have tried to find out how it's exactly pronounced. So we've gone from finding that it's Bacurau, then Bacurau, then Bacurau. So if you've messed it up, regardless of that, and if there's a fourth pronunciation, please forgive us and also let us know in the comments.
You
And
know what?
hmm,
If this was a Turkish movie, what it would be called?
don't say baklava. Just don't. I'm
You got it.
serious.
Yes. You're almost getting to my uh,
Yes,
level now.
because my humor is getting dumbed down because of you and your general dealing with on a daily, Sank. I have to dumb down my humor now with your nonsense dad jokes. And you're not even a dad. Like, what is your excuse? You're not even a father.
Maybe the board.
Ugh, stop it.
All right, fine. Uh, Bacurau. This came out in 2019. Another, as we have mentioned this in our earlier podcast as well, like 2019 is one of the best years of the 21st century for movies. Maybe we'll have a video in the future about the greatest movies of 2019, and each one that we select would would still be relevant. But today we're talking about Bacurau. Uh, we're gonna talk about uh, we're not going to talk about a lot of plot points because since it's not that famous, we are going to keep away from spoilers. Maybe we'll discuss like what happens in the first half an hour of the movie and some thematic elements, uh, just characters and stuff like that. Okay, so do you want to start off with what the movie's about?
Sure. Genre-wise, it's categorized as a weird Western film,
Yeah.
but in the grand narration of the movie, it is actually just a survival film. It is about a bunch of people in a little village, and the protagonist is a girl who comes to visit her village after a long time, and the matriarch of the village has passed away, and these absurd events start happening the second she passes away. And the story kind of follows these villagers, these townspeople, and tries to understand uh, what exactly is going on. And all the occurrences are otherworldly. Like it seems like there is an invasion, but they can't exactly figure out what it is. The best way that they threw us into this universe is there's a classroom and there's a teacher who's talking about Bacurau, talking about what the town is or what the village is and what it looks like and what its area is and everything, and it's a very real place. So he opens it up on Google Maps and he's like, okay, so see, here is and the second he opens it up, he sees that Bacurau is not there. The town is not there. It was there. The thing is, he has done this class before and it was there when he demoed it, but now suddenly on Google Maps there is no mention of the town. Like it's completely disappeared from the satellites. It's just not being recognized as a land at all. And the teacher's baffled, and the students are kind of waiting for him to come up with an answer. And you can feel in that second, like my heart started racing the second, because without spending a minute into the story, they have told us exactly where they are headed. What a great start to the story. Anyway,
Yeah,
what did
it's like
you what did you see in the beginning of the story? Because you were the one who recommended this film to me.
so when these things were happening, there were a lot of conjectures, right? Like it could be it could be terrorists raiding the village. It could be just them. Uh, you talked about it being otherworldly, like, so it could be that there was some alien invasion or something, or they were
Yes.
transported to some other world. And what I loved about it is that while I was watching it, while we are watching it, you are constantly kept, uh, you constantly keep guessing as to what's actually happening. Okay, and in every scene, there's some sort of revelation with their raw materials, with their water situation, some drones, the people going missing, and so many things are happening. In every scene, we are seeing something. But what I loved about it is that it takes its time with the revelation. Like, I think it's about a good 1 hour in the movie when we actually find out what's actually happening, right? So I also, when I was watching it, I also thought, I also saw it as a Western, as a modern Western. Now, the definition of modern Western uh, today is very different. Uh, I think it's differently used in Bacurau, in the sense that when we are talking about modern Western, normal modern Westerns that have existed in 21st century, we talk about what? The Tarantino movies, Django Unchained and Hateful Eight, or the True Grit remake with Haley Steinfeld and uh, Matt Damon. But the difference with those movies and Bacurau is that this movie is not based in 19th century or 17th century or
Yeah.
whatever. It's based in the current times. So it is talking about the current issues. Okay. I'm not going to get into what it's actually talking about because that would be spoilers. But I would just say this much, that it reminded me a lot about movies like Seven Samurai and Sholay, where villagers are fighting an entity. They are
That
defending.
whistle down, what we call city marmo, like whistle down moments Bacurau has. If you are a person who likes gratuitous, violence, escalating storylines, this is a film just for you, specifically
Yes.
made for you.
So I thought of it as that, where the villagers are, you know, defending something, the things that are happening to them, they are the only ones that can do something about it. They don't have a savior like we had samurais or Jay
Yeah,
and Viru.
yeah,
They only have themselves. They have this
yes,
community which is as tightly knit as it comes. Right? Right. Like you talked about the matriarch dying, and you can, in the first 15 minutes you get to know how close these people are. Not only, like, I don't know if it's because they are in a remote village or whatever, they are disconnected from the world, but it is still a very tightly knit community. And I think to show rebellion, you have to talk about what these people are, and that makes the village a character in itself, right? And that's why the rebellion works for us. That's why the way they defend, I don't want to get into who wins and what happens and everything, but we get to see their struggles. We get to know what they're actually going through in those moments when they have some water situation or people getting killed and stuff like that. So you see their agony, you see their pain. Like, they are not going out and harming people, even though they are very much capable of
capable.
violence. Yeah, they are not going out and doing that. They're just plainly defending themselves. And that, man, that gives the village a great characteristic.
Absolutely, 100%. The whole setup of this universe is about people who don't actually know what's going on, and they're shooting in the dark. So by the time these people figure out what's happening, so they lose their electricity, which means they can't access the internet anymore, which means they can't communicate with the outside world anymore. They lose their telephone lines. The what we say, right? Like, in a situation in today's time, let's say someone is under attack, the natural instinct is to communicate outward. So they have made sure that in this universe, with everything available, they have taken all of that down to the point where they're rationing expired food. So whatever can go wrong has gone wrong. Whatever is about to go wrong is, and it's going to get a lot more worse from there, which means anything that they're defending themselves against, they actually don't know. They just know that they have to defend themselves. That's all. They know someone is
Yeah.
coming for them. And the beauty of the story is they also set us up with a mayor who's practically useless, and he takes one of the girls from the village, right? And uh, the the second in charge lady kind of says, "No, I'm not gonna send this girl with you because the last time somebody came back injured or something like that." And they're already setting us up in a world where their leaders are useless. Their leaders are not going to do anything. They're actually going to witness them, falling and dying. They don't care about these people. So imagine a setup where there are people who are very, very vigilant of their own, and they, in spite of that, get into this mess. So as they're shooting in the dark about who they're supposed to be defending, themselves from, everything that is obviously weird has a very simple explanation. As the story escalates, you realize, like, obviously it was this. It couldn't have been anything else other than this. So it's not like some weird twist or, like, oh my God, like this is such a bizarre thing. It is the most straight point blank explanation of why this is happening, which is amazing. The characters, I think there are like four relevant characters that are a very big part. The doctor of the village, the lady
Hmm.
who then the protagonist who has come to visit her village, her friend, and then a fourth person who is my favorite. He's kind of like a outlaw type of a situation. Like he's kind of a mercenary. He goes wherever he's required. So by the time they figure out what they're supposed to do, they're now engaging in possible situations. So they don't know what is about to happen. They just know that they have to do something about it. And if you're a person who's into those kind of storylines where what happens in a modern world if all our modern facilities are taken away from us, how do we respond and react then? How would we survive then? Because this is the survival story of today's time. This is not about finding food and water. This is about trying to figure out a way to be able to communicate with each other when you don't have internet, you don't have your phone working with you, you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have anything. So how would you survive then? And that twist is one of the slickest twists I've ever seen written in a very long time. Sank had recommended this to me. I saw the poster and I was extremely interested. Um, and this is one of the times where what you see is what you'll get and more. So if you see the poster and you feel enticed and you're like, oh, this is going to be like a slick, smart film, like, yes, it is, but it is going to be so much more than that. And you're going to feel very satisfied as you watch this film. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
It's like uh, when you watch the movie, you can't understand as to why it's so underrated. As in, like, maybe it's because it's not in English. It's in Portuguese, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's a South American tale, that much we know. And there is, no, I'm not going to say the other language because that might be a spoiler.
Yeah.
But it's primarily in Portuguese, I'm guessing. Yeah. So I think that's the reason why it's underrated. But I think the language barrier is broken here because the way the story is narrated, like I told you, like the reveal, they sit on the reveal. They don't, they're in no hurry. The way we see the first hour of the movie, you know that even though they shift gears with the violence and with the thrill and everything, but the I think they never leave the course of the plot.
Bacurau means night jar. It's a type of a bird. which is a territorial bird and it protects its territory.
Mm.
It's very aptly named. It's about the protection of yourself. And anybody who has, I don't know, either faced or seen a flight or fight situation in their life will understand this movie on a very profound level. I I'm just very excited for if anyone has already seen it, you have obviously fantastic taste. But if you've not seen it, I'm so excited for you to watch it. Like I'm personally excited for anyone who hasn't watched it yet because there are some movies that you wish, right? Like I wish I could watch it for the first time again. This is definitely amongst my top 10 movies that I wish I could rewatch it again for the first time.
Yeah. And I saw the poster again and I saw a teaser of it, and the teaser looked fantastic. I mean, the movie shot brilliantly. The landscapes of the village, the the color of the sand, everything is, it looks so prominent. Like I said, the village is given a character, because other than that it doesn't work, right? Like, again, sorry for mentioning Seven Samurai and Sholay again, but the samurais and Jay and Vilu wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for the villagers, right? The biggest advantage that they don't have the arms and ammunitions of the bad guys, but the biggest advantage that they have is that they are defending. It's their home ground. They know everything about it, right? And that's why it worked for Seven Samurai and Sholay. And it's the same thing here, except that the villagers here are the samurai, the villagers here are Jay and Viru.
yeah. Also, um, we have to keep in mind that with Seven Samurai and Sholay, the a fair fight. This was not a fair fight.
Yes.
Seven Samurai, there is, we know who the people are, how they're going to attack. The people who are trying to protect that village are equipped exactly that way. But in Bacurau, that's not the case at all. It's about an unfair fight. That's the point of the story. It's about truly a David versus Goliath type of situation. And if you understand why we're saying that when you watch it, you'll enjoy the movie on a deeper level because the setup of the universe is not about, oh, look at them. It's so sad what is happening to them. They're victims of what is going on. They don't know. It's so weird. Is it an invasion? Are these aliens trying to, like, why are these aliens trying to attack them? There is like 1,000 questions that you will have, but what you have to realize is they have been stripped of the bare minimum to be able to even put up a fight. And that's the story. When you have nothing and you're backed up against the wall, what happens then?
So great time we have had today. We are back to our staple movie discussion. I don't think we'll ever leave. We'll do shorts and everything, but this is something that we'll always come back to, because this is what we want. This is what we start the channel. Okay, so please watch Bacurau. Bacurau. I hope I'm pronouncing the
We're
name
shooting
correctly,
in the dark,
because
and we
yeah,
apologize
yeah,
to everybody here.
yes, we don't want to put a Hebrew again. If you don't get the context, please watch our Hebrew review to know how many times we screwed up in that video.
Yes.
But also leave a like there as well.
Also, thank you for all the love you've given us for our short recommendations. I think we put out two recommendations in the past 3 weeks. Like, please check that out. Sank has put out his favorite. I put out my current favorite. We are covering both series and movies, and if you guys feel like we are not covering enough, like send us, like, you want us to cover a comic book, let us know, like, because we love that shit. Like, tell us what you want us to cover. And thank you for giving us all this love. Please send this stuff to your friends. Tell them to subscribe to us. It really helps the channel.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.